Hello Stampers, my name is Linda Bedinger and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Denver, Colorado. And this is my buddy Puccini, and we have another one of those beautiful ribbon cards, Christmas cards for you. He's anxious to get away now, he'll be back. And so let's just get started. Here is my card. And it is using this beautiful ribbon that I also got at Hobby Lobby. And it's kind of a warm brownish gray background and then these beautiful Christmas trees. And so what you need to make this card is a basic gray card base that's 8.5 by 5.5, scored and folded at 4 1/4. Then this, I don't know if you remember this, I have quite a bit of it left over from maybe a year ago. This beautiful mottled gold, any gold foil will work, but this one had a little bit of texture. And so I used it. It's cut 4 by 5 1/4. Then I have, again, this is retired ribbon, but it looked kind of funny on here with just this piece. Sometimes things need 3 colors. And so far we've got gold and kind of a warm gray. And I put a very vanilla piece on the inside, and that inspired me to add this trim, and any goldish trim will work, whatever you happen to have in your stash. And then I have this piece, and this piece is 3.5 by 5/8, and that's for our message. And any small Merry Christmas, or this one says Blessed Christmas Wishes, and this is from a set that we had some years ago called Itty Bitty Christmas. It had all kinds of little Christmas sayings that were very, very small in stature. And so I just dug that one out. It happened to be one that fit on here. It could just say Merry, it could say Joy, it could say Noel. Whatever you have in your stash will work. Okay, and that is done in gold embossing powder. And then on the inside of this one, I just used the very vanilla piece and more of this. Now on these, what I did was I cut from some gold sparkle paper and then more of the basic gray, and I used a punch. Now, you probably have stars punches someplace, or you could use snowflakes. It wouldn't matter really much. But I happen to have this one, and so I cut a bunch of stars out in the gold glitter and in the gray to do my decorating. And I used that same decoration for the inside of the car, and it picked up the gold in the trees, and I thought that worked pretty well. So that's what we need to make this, and we can just kind of get going here. Now this ribbon is first going to, well, I suppose I better put these on first, because this one ran a little off the edge. I'd really like to move that in just a little bit. So I'm going to just use some tape runner on the back of my ribbon here, and this is a continuous strip one rather than the dots. It all works just fine. You just want to get enough on the ribbon that it kind of sticks down and folds over your piece. Now this paper isn't terribly thick, so you have to be a little bit careful, and I think that'll work about like that. This one I cut a little short and it's peeking out, and I'm going to have to figure out how to fix that. But if we fold that over like that, and then run this ribbon down the front, and then fold this over on the back. That takes care of that piece. Then I need this ribbon butted up next to this and have the same kind of thing going on here. So I'm going to put a little bit of tape across the top and the bottom, and a bit on these Christmas trees so it won't show through, and a bit on the edging here. And put that into place also on this piece. And I'm just going to butt this ribbon right up against this vanilla and gold ribbon. So like that. Not traditional colors for Christmas, but I couldn't pass this ribbon up. It was just so beautiful. And again, these were ribbons I found at Hobby Lobby. This one is number 30, so you should be able to find this exact ribbon at Hobby Lobby if you chose to do that. Okay, and then we're just going to, these are the wire edged ribbons, so they fold nicely under here, like this. And there we go. And I want that to kind of bend and fold so that it doesn't gap. And we can put little bits of tape runner under here to kind of hold various pieces of it. Now I have a second piece of this ribbon here, and I'm going to put some tape on it. And, oops, there it goes. And I'm going to put it on this side so that it leaves, roughly the same amount of margin that it does on the other side. There we go. It's really a pretty simple card to put together once you get going on it. And then these, just like the other ribbon, will kind of push into place, and then fold this over so that it grabs a hold of the back of this piece of card. All right, now this is ready to go on the front of our card, and I'm going to continue to just use, well, maybe I'll use my liquid glue now. I can put some liquid glue down the end, and this will help hold the ribbon in place as well. And get that put on the front of our card. I just fell in love with these ribbons this time, and since Stampin' Up! Didn't have much in the way of Christmas paper that, I mean, they had the one suite that was traditional Christmas, and that's really the only ones that were even close to traditional colors. And I'm kind of a traditional Christmas color kind of person, although this one isn't traditional colors, but the ribbon dictated what I did. I have 2 or 3 others right behind this one that, in fact, I can give you a sneak peek on one of the next ones that I've got planned, and it is this pretty one here with the red cardinals. It won't look exactly like this was a prototype, so it'll change up a little bit from that, but that's probably going to be the next one up of these ribbon cards. And I've got enough ribbon to make a bunch, and I still have my white on white Christmas card to do as well. All right, so here we're just going to put some glue on the back of this piece of Berry Vanilla and get that placed on the inside of this card. I think this one I did this way, and this one I did fold it over. Your choice. You can see how they both look and see what you think. Okay, And because that's wet glue, I get to wiggle this around until it is pretty much perfectly placed. There we go. All right. Now, I have this little strip that I'm going to use my embossing buddy on here. And then I have my Christmas stamp here, and it says Blessed Christmas Wishes. And I'm going to put some Versamark on there. And I'm going to push it pretty much far over on this side. Hope my head doesn't get in the way here. But Blessed Christmas Wishes. And then I'm going to use my gold embossing powder. On this little strip. There we go. And I'll get my heat gun out and I will quiet the video. And the way I have it set up, this is going to go on dimensionals. So I've got a couple of them here. And everything else is pretty flat on this card. So we can just put some dimensionals down this tag and get that put into place. And there is our Blessed Christmas Wishes, which on this one is going to span that ribbon, that white ribbon. Maybe I'll move it right between those two trees. There we go. And put that in place. And then what I did with these stars is I have cut the same item out of both. So I put this little piece here just off center for this other big star. So let me put a little bit of glue on here and put my star over the top. Like that. And then I put another small gray star kind of right in the middle, and you can put this on with glue dots. You don't have to necessarily do the wet glue, but that's what I have here on my desk, so that's what I'm going to use. So I put a star here, off-centered again, and on this whole assembly, since that's already raised, I just put a little bit of glue on the back of my star and put it into place right here on the front of the card. I'm going to hold that for just a second until the glue kind of gets its grip. There. Now we just need one for the inside, and I used two kind of big old fat ones. Here's the gold, and let's see, here is one of the darker ones. So again, I'll put some glue in the middle of this and attach this so that it's offset, and then put a little bit of glue. That's sliding around a little bit. And you can put more sentiment on the inside if you want. There's lots of them, not only from this year but in years past, that say may your Christmas holiday bring you joy and cheer, and there's just 100 things you could put on there. But I'm going to stick that right there so we don't have any extra dimension on the inside. And there we have it. And this one I did, like I said, so that it opened this way, and this one I did so that it opened this way. Your choice. You'll have to tell me which one you like better, or if it makes any difference at all. But there is my project for the day. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel today. I do so appreciate it. And if you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, well, I'd love to be your demonstrator. And the new catalog is out. There's still a little bit of time to get some things done. Being kind of the middle of November, some of us have to get packages and things in the mail pretty early. So I will be madly making Christmas cards, but I will do the white on white again this year. And then like I said, I have so much of that beautiful Christmas ribbon. I'm just going to keep going with these because I just didn't find any suitable paper in the Stampin' Up! Catalog this year. You'll notice the ribbons are real close to the end on this one, and this one they're more in the center. And I think I like this better. It looks more balanced. In any case, that's it for me. I will be back soon with more cards, more projects, and more tips. Bye!